I am Harley Baker, here at Gloucester, England, finding out what is nostalgia in technology and what does it mean to us? So what is nostalgia to me? Well, nostalgia is all the games I used to play as a kid, like on the 360 and all that. Also, I used to own a PlayStation 2 as well, so there's also that. I used to have loads of fun memories of playing games such as Transformers, Fall of Cybertron, and Skyrim and all that. One of the best times of my life, really. This is Cat's Corner. It is the perfect place to reconnect with your memories. Like, it has everything. I am here with Neil Tiller, asking him, what is nostalgia?
Okay,
So-
thanks for having me, Harley.
Who are you?
So I'm Neil, I'm a film student at Gloucestershire College, studying a level 2 media course.
What do you find nostalgic?
I find DVDs mostly nostalgic because I've been collecting them since I was about 6 now, so pretty interesting.
Are there any devices you find nostalgic?
I find the Nintendo Wii nostalgic because who doesn't remember playing Wii Sports and breaking a couple of TVs playing bowling? Gotta get those strikes, am I right?
Do you think nostalgia is being damaged in the modern day?
I do think nostalgia is being pretty damaged considering all of the contents we're getting now, like there was just a new Silent Hill 2 remake, which is just the same game from whatever year Silent Hill 2 came out, but they just repurposed it and just went, here's some shiny graphics, here's some new ways to play it, but it's the same story.
Do you think nostalgia is being weaponized?
Well, considering on the last question about what I just talked about, yes, I do think it is, considering we also got a Dead Space remake back in 2023 or 2022, and that was just the same game from 2008. There was no changes other than the controls being flipped around a bit.
Do you buy a lot of things you find nostalgic?
I do buy a lot of things I find nostalgic, like PS2 games, I buy PS3 games, because that was a console I grew up with as a big part of my life. Especially the Toys to Life games, like Skylanders, Lego Dimensions, Disney Infinity. I used to have, like, all the figures. But obviously Activision owned Skylanders, and that went all out the window.
Do you think nostalgia is being overpriced?
I do think nostalgia is being overpriced, considering I'm pretty sure when Dead Space came out back in 2008, it was like about 20 quid. Now it's like, if you want to play the same game but just with the new shinier graphics, it's like 70, 80 quid. It's ridiculous.
How do you see nostalgia?
I see nostalgia as kind of a bad thing. It's not... Well, it's bad, but it's also good. It can give you a feeling of warmth and comfort. So it feels definitely like it's where you're most comfortable, you know what I mean? But it can also have a dark side to it. It's a grey area in gaming and everything, like lighting and movies.
What do you think was your favourite game from your past?
My favourite game from my past would have to be Batman Arkham Asylum, because I remember that game being just an absolute masterpiece. The first game that ever actually scared me when Scarecrow showed up the first time. As a 9-year-old, that was terrifying.
What do you think of the new market?
I think the new market is just the same market, but just remakes and remasters, pretty much. There's a couple of new games here and there, but they've just not been the same.
Okay, thank you for your interview.
You're very welcome, thanks for having me.
Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Thomas George and I am a lecturer at Gloucestershire College where I teach media and film studies.
So introduce yourself and what do you do?
My name is Harvey Thompson and I'm the media technician at Glasgow.
What's nostalgic to you?
When I think of nostalgia, I think a lot about the games I used to play as a kid or the movies I used to watch, childhood memories, growing up with friends back in South Wales. So to me, if I had to pick something that I would say I'm really nostalgic about, it would be like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era of gaming, or Nintendo 64. So a lot of like the old Mario games, the old Zelda games, old movies. I'm a big fan of 90s like action films, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was my hero growing up, Jackie Chan. So a lot of stuff like that I would say is nostalgic to me. So video games and movies are the main ones.
What's your earliest memory of technology?
The earliest memories I have, I remember having a SNES a Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and I remember playing Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back video game on it, and I remember it being really hard. You had to fight a scorpion, and didn't Darth Vader turn into a scorpion at the end of the game, something like that. Don't know why that happened, but I remember that. That was an early memory I had. I also remember getting my first DVD player, and the first DVD I ever had on there was The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser The Mummy film from 1999. So that's another memory I remember. My dad coming home with this big, massive DVD box, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And he was like, "This is a disc. You can play films on a disc, and you can rewind it and pause it, and you can like select the scenes you want to start watching it from." And I thought it was mind blowing. I've never seen anything like it. And then I remember getting my first PlayStation 1, and I remember playing Resident Evil 1 over my cousin's house late at night when I was like 10. Too young to be playing Resident Evil 1. It scarred me for life. So my earliest memories of technology would definitely be the SNES, my first DVD player, and then getting a PlayStation 1.
What was your first interaction with technology?
Probably playing the Dreamcast. I used to play Dreamcast. We used to play like all four of us. We played Dreamcast. That would probably be the first time I ever experienced technology. I guess you could say the TV, watching films. I guess that's just little tiny stuff like that. When we play games or when we watch films.
What's your view on the modern market in gaming, films, and music?
Oh, I think we're in a hard spot at the minute. Music is being destroyed by like streaming services like Spotify, not paying the artists very well. So I think a lot of the artists that are putting up music are not making much money back from that, which is something I do feel quite strongly about. Films, I think there are amazing films being made, but it's harder to see them because there's so much films everywhere now with Netflix, Amazon, Disney. How can I find the good films when I have to work through so many crap films like Deadpool and Wolverine, for example? Gaming, I think, is in a weird spot. I don't play much games anymore, which is a sad thing because my job takes up so much time. But I think there's amazing games being made. Like last year, I really enjoyed Ballotro, Helldivers 2, Astrobot. But again, I think the gaming industry is in a really bad place at the minute with like developer layoffs, studios being shut down. There's great things being made, but I do think we're at a time at the minute where the bubble could burst with films, music and gaming. So don't take what we have right now for granted, and I think we should enjoy what we have before it gets taken away from us.
How do you find the evolution of technology?
It's been interesting growing up. I think I was one of the last generations where I remember a time before the internet and having the internet. So, growing up before the internet was magical. I feel like every house had a PC, and that PC was the only place you could access the internet. As soon as you left that PC, you no longer could go there. And I feel like nowadays with your phones, like everyone can just get on the internet whatever they want to. And it doesn't seem like it's an escape anymore. It seems like we need to escape from the internet instead of going to the internet as a form of escape. So growing up with technology has been really interesting. Obviously, I love the advancements in technology for a lot of different reasons. But I do think it's getting scary, especially with stuff like AI now. What's believable, what's not. The other day I tried Googling something and I had to scroll through so much junk just to get to the actual website I wanted to. Because it was like AI answers and fake websites. So technology is a great thing, but it's also a very scary thing. And I think in the wrong hands, it could be very dangerous for us as a human race moving forward.
Do you think nostalgia is being weaponized?
Yeah, I think nostalgia will always be weaponized and it'll always be profitable. You look at movies like Star Wars, Jurassic World, the Scream movies, they count on older fans coming back to the franchise that they grew up with. They use characters from older films to sell the movie to you. I think a lot of times Hollywood gets bad rap for not having original films. There's plenty of original films being made, but nobody watches them because the cinemas are dominated by Star Wars and Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones and all these films that have been recycled and rehashed. And there is a market for it, I mean, I like some of the newer Star Wars films, I like some of the new Scream films, for example, but I think we're in a dangerous territory right now where fans have a lot of control over what is being said and what is being produced. So I believe that nostalgia is a very dangerous thing because we often look back at it more positively than what it was. But I also believe that we are becoming an industry, especially with films, where we are relying solely on the nostalgia of fans of older things. Games is getting similar as well with the remakes of games like Resident Evil, Silent Hill. it's just it's a safe bet. It's always going to be a money maker because there's a built-in audience already, which isn't a bad thing, but it is also hard then to get original ideas made because there's always a Star Wars thing being made or Indiana Jones or whatever. So yeah, I think it is being weaponized, but it can be used for good, but it can also be used for bad as well.
Are games and movie remakes overpriced?
I think game and movie remakes can be overpriced. Yeah, I think Silent Hill 2 is a perfect example of this. I bought it over Christmas. It was like £70 for a game I played 20 years ago on my PS1 for 20 quid. So it is hard to justify paying £70 for a game I've already beaten before millions of times. But again, people will buy it because it's an established thing. So can we really argue against it if there are stupid people out there, myself included, who will pay for these things? So I'm not totally sure. Same with cinema ticket prices. I remember as a kid, they'd be £3 to go to the cinema. Nowadays, to take you, a kid, your wife or whatever to the cinema, you're paying 30, 40 quid. With snacks, with parking. It's insane at the minute, the prices of everything. And I do think that video game remakes are oftentimes overpriced. Movie remakes, I guess so as well, but video game remakes are definitely overpriced at the moment, I think, yeah. Video games in general, I think, are getting really expensive. £70, some of them. Like, how much do you think GTA 6 is going to cost? £100? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Do you think coffee shops have secret communities that you need a special password and requirements to enter? Because that's how I feel some games and film communities are today, where you need to be the ultimate fan to be able to join these communities and need to be there for the birth and death of the product that you all want to enjoy. So I just feel like newer people are gate-capped into being fake fans, you know, not there when it all started, and unoriginal, just trying to blend in with the older generation. And it just buries these communities and these games and these films into obscurity just because a community prevented new people from experiencing this. Don't you agree? Gloucester is beautiful in the summer, but sadly, it's freezing, it's miserable, and it's foggy, and not the summer. Well, to think it has changed so much through the decades, and like many things we use every day, such as YouTube, has also changed. YouTube used to be a big part of my childhood, basically throughout my whole life while I was growing up. And to think it has changed down to the like button. And that kind of shows that everything we use every day has really changed over the past few years. So what have we learned about nostalgia today? Well, I think we learned that nostalgia can be used for good and evil. I think it can be used to bring people together, and it can also be used to separate people from communities. And we also learned that companies will also use nostalgia to weaponize and advertise while making the same game over and over again without consequence. I also think that we have found out nostalgia is very different in everyone, especially in technology, as everyone has grown up with different things, different lives, and different everything. Wouldn't you agree?